Hello folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Casita Trailer Maintenance. On this one we're going to cover the water system of the Casita RV, what's entailed with it, and basically how to take care of it. This is a basic drawing of the actual water system on a Casita, and depending on which model it may depend on which side the stuff is on. When you get your RV, you've got two ways to get water in it. One is through the water tank, which this is where you fill the water tank on the RV. And the tank is under the passenger side bench, and depending on which tank you get, depends on how much water it holds. The other way is through the city water connection, and that's going to be over here on the side. And that's going to be your supply if you're using city water. Now, you should always use a pressure regulator here and a filter on your water system. That filter needs to be replaced on a regular basis, and the regulator keeps you from blowing out the water lines in your trailer. I use the filter whether I'm filling the tank or whether I'm using city water, because I want clean water in the trailer whenever I can. Alright, well, let's talk about the water heater. Let's cover it first. You can see I've got the screen on the outside which keeps the dirt daubers out, which in Florida that's a major thing. The water heater internally, I've got the gas and electric, which the gas is over here. This is a regulator for it, and that's the burner which goes back down in there to actually heat the water. And then I've also got the electric, which is that little switch down here. Now I leave that off on the inside on the circuit breaker, because if you turn that switch on and there's no water in the tank, it will burn that heating element out right away. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually drain the water heater and then pull the anode out at the same time to check it. And the way we're going to do that is up here on the top is your temperature and pressure regulator. And what this does is if it overheats or it gets too high a pressure, that relieves the pressure so that the water heater is safe. But that's going to be how we're actually going to get air back into the regulator, or actually back into it to be able to let it drain. And then we're going to, at the bottom down here, we're going to pull this nut out which has the anode, and that's going to let the water drain out and allow us to inspect the anode and flush out the water heater. This is what the anode looks like. It's I believe it's made out of zinc. I'm not sure on that. But basically what it does, it screws in there and it attracts all of the things that would make the steel inside the tank rust, and it attacks this zinc rod first, and that way it's not there to attack the inside and keeps the tank from rusting. Alright, well, let's go ahead and we're going to first lift the valve here, let the pressure off. Alright, once that's the pressure's off, we're going to take a 1 1/16 inch wrench socket, and we're going to put it down here, and we're going to loosen up this nut. And then once we get the broke loose and the nut coming out, you can unscrew it by hand. Now you need to back up when you do this, because there's going to be a lot of water comes out. Once you get it loose, just pull it out and inspect your anode. Now you can see this one looks pretty good. It's not too eat up right now. When they're ready to be replaced, there's just a thin rod in the middle. This one was just replaced a couple of months ago. I think we've been on 2 trips since we replaced it, so we just set it down out of the way. Now we just have to let the 6 gallons of water drain out of the tank, which takes a few minutes, but it's not too bad. Now that it's finished draining, what we've got to do, we've got to actually flush out the tank. The anode, as it works, is going to basically deposit scale at the bottom. I took this attachment that I used for filling my water tank, and I figured out it works great for flushing the water heater out too. All we're going to do is we're going to pump water into the bottom down here, flush it back out, and just keep doing that until we see it clear. Now it's not going to be too long on mine because I just did mine a couple of months ago, but you're just going to fill it up, flush it out, fill it up, flush it out until all of the scale, till you see the water clear and there's no scale coming out. Alright, well, mine's clear now, and it's time to reinstall the anode. Alright, the first thing you're going to do is put Teflon tape around the end of the anode, and then we're going to actually just put the anode back in and hand start it, and then we're going to use a wrench to tighten it up. Now while you're in here doing all of this, tightening it up, draining it and all that, you want to look around at every component inside here, make sure that everything looks good, make sure nothing's loose, make sure nothing's corroded or anything. The last thing you want to do is make sure you flip down that temperature pressure regulator, because otherwise when you go fill this tank, all your water is going to come out right there. And then once you verify that everything looks good inside here, just close it up and you're done with the water heater. Alright, now that we've finished the water heater, let's talk about blowing down the system. You would do this for either winterizing or for cleaning. You're going to take an adapter. I got this when I bought the trailer from Casita, but you can buy them online at Amazon or from pretty much any RV store. And it just screws into your city water connection, and it's got a Schrader type valve like it's on an inner tube or a tire, and that's what you're going to put the air through with. And all I'm going to do is take my air compressor and hook it up to it. You can use a portable air compressor like you plug into DC, and it'll work fine too. We're going to go inside the trailer now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bypass the water heater. We just blew it down or drained it down, and we don't want to blow water back into it. So what you got to do is you open this bottom door here to access your water heater. And not sure where it is on the other models, but this is where it's on the Independence and the Liberty. And once you get this door open, you're going to reach inside there, and on the bottom set of tubes is going to be a valve, and you can just flip that valve so the handle is horizontal, and that's going to bypass your water heater. Then you can open all your valves, your water valves in the trailer. Here I'm opening the kitchen sink. Once you've got the hot and cold water open on the kitchen sink, then you can go to the bathroom, and you're going to do the same thing in the bathroom. You're going to open the two valves in the bathroom so that your hot and cold water's on in your bathroom. Alright, once you got those on, then we're going to go back outside. And we're going to just hit put pulses of air through this Schrader valve. Now you see how slow it's going down there? And each time I put a pulse of air through there, you see that the air goes way quicker because it's pushing the water out of the sinks, faucet in the sink in the kitchen and the faucet in the sink in the bathroom. Alright, I'll do this several times. I'm listening to. And then once I've got it done, I'll go back inside and I'll close the kitchen sink because it's the closest. And the bathroom sink I'm going to leave open because it's the furthest sink away. And then I'm going to do the same thing again, and you'll still see the first time it goes down a little slow there, but after that it goes fast because you've blown all the water out of the system. Now once we get it done and I'm sure that all the air's out, I'm going to go back inside and I'm going to shut the bathroom sinks, and we're done blowing down the system. Now one thing you'll notice is I did not blow down the toilet because I usually do this with somebody else and they're inside watching these valves. And you can't very well stand on that toilet switch there and blow air at the same time. So I highly recommend you do this with two people. Now that we've finished blowing it down and all the valves are closed, go ahead and remove your adapter here, put your little cover back on. And then the next thing you can do is you're going to go inside and you're going to put your water heater back to normal operation. You're going to reach in and turn that valve so it's vertical now, pointed up and down. And then you're finished blowing down the system. Alright folks, well that concludes part 1 of our water system maintenance. In part 2 we're going to show you how to sterilize the system to make it safe to drink from. As usual, we appreciate you watching and we definitely enjoy bringing you these videos. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more of our maintenance and travel videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Until then, have a good evening.